That's a pretty good start.
Welcome back to the Overruled podcast. Apparently our last one before we get sued because Ohio State's trying to trademark that word.
Oof.
My name is Trevor Blatnick, alongside Ben Vogel, Kyle Barton, that's your warning, and Jaden Rioch, as always.
I have a warning?
No, it was Kyle's warning.
What am I warned about?
Saying who?
Who?
That's your warning. Next time you'll be
Last
muted.
one to get a warning. Let's go.
Warning gang.
Yeah.
Hey, me and Kyle are part of the warning gang. We're on the warning track.
Friday, August 16th.
Some might say you have warning
2019.
track power.
This is true.
All right, let's get this podcast on
Won't
the
you
road.
please take me home? Country roads.
No, that's not till the end, stupid.
Oh my, I forgot my own podcast. Oh, I'm on video. Hi, video. Hey, YouTube, I love you, okay? Never change.
Yeah, this is our first podcast in a week after we made a slight boo-boo, or I guess I did, and we had no audio. So if you're really good at reading lips, you can watch our last podcast, but
Where I say the Saints will make the playoffs.
Trevor, take the L.
if you can't read lips, then you
Ow.
basically just watch us move around for an hour.
That's not really very entertaining, so I wouldn't
No.
suggest watching it.
Yeah, I would not
I would
advise against
suggest
it.
watching it because I move around a lot and I disturb Blake.
Yeah, Blake was here last week.
Blake
Yeah.
was here last week.
Just
Sadly,
like his
he couldn't
owl,
speak.
he is gone.
We trashed Antonio Brown
Rest in
last
peace,
week.
Flippers.
I don't think we can still trash Antonio Brown because he seems more normal now.
Yeah, I still wouldn't touch him in fantasy football.
I wouldn't either.
No way.
Unless you're Caleb, then take him first round.
Speaking of Caleb,
Oh, can we call Caleb to get his opinions on Antonio Brown?
Isn't it pronounced K-Lap?
Oh, sorry, K-Lap. He's
Caleb
a married
told me
man.
he's
People
gonna
forget
take
that.
Todd Gurley in the first round, so I'm kind of looking forward to that.
That's good. I'm glad. I'm
Todd
glad for
Gurley
Caleb.
overrated.
If we could get a real phone call with him, then I would say sure, but this Snapchat crap doesn't sound very good.
We,
So no.
We tried telling Grant to take Philip Lindsay to take him away from Trevor, but we're not
This
sure
is
if that'll
true.
work.
I don't know if Caleb will draft.
I'll call him on the real phone instead of Snapchat. Trevor,
Okay.
don't worry.
That's not the...
No, that's definitely the word. You just said you didn't want to snap call him. Is that Caleb Grovar? Oh, perfect transition. He better pick up.
I wouldn't.
Well, he's married. Who knows? He might be like hanging out with his wife.
He's probably asleep.
He's probably working. It's, 12:07.
Here, let's leave him a message.
7202052.
Oh. Everyone
I
call
don't really
Caleb
think
now.
that we should have done that.
Hi, Mr. Grover. Is this voicemail yet?
I think so.
Oh, hi, Mr. Grover. How's wifey doing? We're on the podcast. Just wanted to say hi. I share the highs from Trevor on the other side of the glass because he got a 5-minute major. I share it with Ben, and here is Kyle.
Who?
I don't know Kyle.
I'm sorry, Caleb.
All right,
They
let's
made
start.
me do it.
Let's start talking about some sports.
Oh, you're wearing a Denver Rockets shirt.
What did I get
Why?
a 5-minute major for?
For
Sports.
hooking with Mary M.
That doesn't even make sense.
Mary
No,
M.
because hooking, Mary M.
I think we should
Boom.
talk about something, that matters.
Oh, his wife doesn't matter? Because he's going to marry me. That's why it's Mary M.
Something relevant to the
Here we go
podcast.
hey, language.
It's okay.
It's
nobody
muted.
can
No
hear
one
it.
can hear it.
Hashtag shit gang.
We can just barely hear it, and that's as good enough for me. Now Jaden's on the 5-minute on the 5-minute major.
Stupid, doesn't know his own sport.
My sport's baseball, Jaden.
No, your sport is definitely CU.
I don't think that's
Go
a sport,
Buffs.
but yeah, Go Buffs.
Metro.
I think CU's gonna do extra. I'm predicting a 7-5 season for CU.
I'll take it. I might actually cry when we get that 7th win.
Mel Tucker.
That 6th win.
Mel Tucker's the man.
Mel Blunt.
You think they're getting to the bowl?
I think so.
You think they're getting to a bowl?
No.
I don't
Actually,
They
really
recruited really well. They
Montez and Montez and Visca, if they both stay healthy, they should be good enough to make a bowl, but that doesn't mean they will.
The whole Pac-12.
It's going to be real close. So there'll be a 5 or 6
6 and 6, 7 and 5. Those are the two win amounts they'd get to make a bowl.
Really? You need 6 wins to make a bowl?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They might
Am I
only win
back?
5.
I'm back.
I thought it was 5 minutes.
Yeah, I figured Jaden would just be annoying
scored
for
a
those
goal.
5
It's
minutes.
okay.
No, that's actually not how that works.
Oh,
You're
well, on a 5-minute major, but I got a double minor.
No,
Stupid. I know how hockey's works. I got followed by a hockey guy.
What are you double minoring in?
Double minoring, actually, I'm double minoring in podcasting and Trevor trolling.
I can guarantee that he's going to graduate with high honors in that second one.
Let's go.
So, talk about baseball.
New York Mets.
No, we're
Let's go. Mets go.
They've lost 3 in a row going into last night, and then they won. So good job, Mets.
Not Sam Gagnon was trying to help that get to 4 in a row, but it didn't.
Yeah, the Mets are kind of in that they're really hot for a while, and now they're going to go into that lull where they're going to play about 4 under ball for a week or 2.
Shooting. Why did we just randomly play the song, Trevor?
Keep talking.
Okay, but
Jaden, you'll hear in a sec.
Anyway,
Okay.
I think the Mets, the next week or 2, they're gonna dip a little bit, and then it'll even back out afterwards. The little lull that the Giants have gone through. The Mets are just like the Giants. I've been saying that they're just like a week or 2 behind, and I think the two teams are gonna end with very similar records. One of them might sneak into the playoffs, but we'll see what happens. The NL wildcard's very interesting. It's gonna be very close. I think you have like 5 or 6 teams that'll all finish within like 3 games of each other.
Agreed.
Okay.
If the Cardinals recover, they're probably the best of the teams that aren't Washington in terms of wild card.
Well, the Cardinals are in the lead of the division right now.
Wow, they've responded well because it was the Cardinals struggling. Clearly, it's because the Cubs just got swept at Bryce Harper's walk-off grand slam to the frickin' moon.
Yeah.
I watched one at bat that entire game.
It didn't go to the moon, stupid. It went to the crowd.
It went to the second deck to right
Still the
field in
crowd.
Philly in a regular game. That's hard.
The dude hits one ball and everybody starts freaking out about him, acting like he's one of the best players in baseball again. It's ridiculous. He's so overrated.
Yeah, well, when one of your players hits a walk-off grand slam to the moon, then maybe you can start talking about them being just...
It's not your player,
Oh,
though, because you're
got
a Mets
him.
fan.
Oh, yeah,
know.
that's right. You are a Mets fan.
But
So
I'm
we're not going to
referring
talk about the Rockies anymore, right?
Believe me, I do not want to talk about the
I
Rockies
kind of
anymore.
want to talk about the Rockies.
The Rockies
have
poop
to?
emoji.
No,
we
I-
went to a game on Tuesday.
I think we've covered the Rockies immensely.
Yeah, and it's not like their situation's changed.
Yep. Third from the bottom in the
It
NL.
started like this, and it very quickly went like this.
Here come the Padres, boys.
No.
Well, speaking of the Padres and Mets, Fernando Tatis Jr. got hurt, but do you still think he's the favorite over Pete Alonso for NL Rookie of the Year?
Homers are sexy, so no.
Frankly, he hasn't been the favorite all year, even though he definitely deserves it more. And
I
I've been
think he's
saying
a-
that
yeah.
since June, that he's
This
more
is true.
deserving.
You have been saying it since June.
Alonso. But he hasn't been the favorite all year. Alonso has been, and I think if Tatis misses more than a week, then Alonso's going to run away with it because the media is biased towards New York.
The Mets
and a
make the
team in the
playoffs,
playoff race. Yeah,
And
The Mets
Alonso,
make the playoffs,
and,
then yes.
And Alonso is the driving force behind it. It's not even close. Like, if Alonso hits 53 homers and the Mets make the playoffs,
Yeah, I
like,
get
it
it.
isn't even going to be close.
and if Tatis hits 30 homers and steals 25 bases,
Stolen bases aren't that cool. Why?
a 30-25 season as a rookie is pretty impressive.
Anyone can steal bases. You can't teach speed, so if you're
Excuse
fast...
me, anyone? Albert Pujols can't steal bases. Stupid.
I'm certain he has.
Probably.
Pitchers can steal bases. Troy frickin' Tulowitzki could steal bases.
That is true.
Trevor, watch your language.
I know, freaking is just terrible. Sorry, Grandma. You're the one I know that would be upset about that.
I love you, Grandma.
She's not your grandma, Jaden.
Hi, Trevor's grandma.
Isn't it Roz?
Yes.
Hi, Roz.
Because mine is Roz, and then you
Ben's
decided
is Ross.
you decided to call
Ross
Ben.
has a store.
Yeah, exactly.
Ross.
That's why. She's very famous.
Oh, okay. I don't
My
even...
grandma's Mrs. Buttersworth.
Do you know what team we need to talk about for baseball?
Probably like the A's,
I was going
right?
to say the Indians.
Miami
Oh,
Marlins.
yeah, the Indians are doing something right now.
I think the Indians are going to win the AL.
It's either them or the Astros.
Yep.
I don't think the Yankees have a candle to
No
them.
way.
I think the Indians are going to win the AL. Jose Ramirez is a homer away from another 2020 season.
I just don't understand why stolen bases are just this end-all, be-all. Why
They
go
aren't.
for
It's
stolen
just a fun
bases?
stat.
I know, but you're talking. So you're saying that he deserves to be Rookie of the Year with 53 homers as opposed to a 30-25 season. Well, 25 stolen bases. That means you're getting on base, but Pete Alonso with his 53 homers is definitely getting on base, and he's driving himself in.
Let me. I think it's because I come from more of like a scouting and a prospect kind of mindset. You look at power, speed. Power and speed are like the two big things that you look for, and when somebody has both of those tools, it's a really big deal to see just power, speed guys because it's such a unique combination.
And these days
Not
it's
anymore.
hard. Yeah, and these days it's harder to steal bases because catchers' arms have gotten so much stronger. That's why
But
you
it's
won't see
still
guys.
probably-
Not as much.
At tops, probably about 40% throwout rate. It's not like catchers are all of a sudden dominating stolen bases. I mean, if you go 5 times, you're going to make it at least 3.
Yeah, you just won't see anyone stealing like
Well,
90
if you stay with
bases
the right
again.
guys.
Well, yeah. It's not like you send Pujols who's going to make it 3 out of 5 times. But
No,
in
he will.
general,
He's got wheels.
if you steal 5 times with guys that can run, you're going to steal 3 times. Just because for a runner to steal a base, you have to run about 79 feet straight and then slide, potentially a swim move. That's all a runner has to do with a righty on the mound. With lefty, it gets a little bit more difficult because they have to, see moves and stuff like that.
Hey, we could ask him.
No.
People forget.
Wow.
Josh is in Denver.
I don't know. I mean, steals don't really mean much in the grand scheme of things. I think it's really cool when you see a
pretty
guy
sexy.
who's able to hit a lot of homers and steal a lot of bases because it's a unique skill set, and you don't see it
It's
a lot.
unique, but it's not.
It's fun to see, and it's noteworthy.
It's fun to see, but I
It
don't
doesn't
think
mean
that
a lot,
that
no.
holds.
In terms of value, it doesn't mean a lot. It's more along the lines of talent, and it's just,
Yeah, and you're saying if Acuna gets 40-40, he should be at least. Would he be MVP, or if
I don't think he's going to get to 40-40 at this
Tatis gets 30-25, he should be Rookie of the Year? Steals, just so what? You have to look at WAR. Tatis is higher than Alonso in WAR, but again, it's just going to go back to the media.
Tatis is higher in B WAR. They're tied in F WAR.
And that just shows Alonso. He's actually had just such an incredible season.
He has.
And I think
Man.
I was just going to point out the difference between B WAR and F WAR. The main difference is defensive metrics. B WAR uses defensive run saves, and F WAR uses UZI or UZR.
UZR is better than defensive run saves.
I agree with that because I think it's more accurate, and
I don't think there's going to ever be an accurate way to determine defense, just because
I don't either.
it's so subjective. Like, to me, if you make a diving stop on a ground ball down the line with 2 outs and a runner on second, that's literally 1 defensive run saved.
But because of the errors that Tatis makes, defensive run save favors him because he makes a lot of errors, but he makes a lot of flashy plays, which is why UZI is a more accurate indicament of what he can do, and that's what's brought him down equal with Alonso in that WAR.
And I think people just look at Tatis and see fast, usually good fielding shortstop, and they're quick to dismiss the polar bear.
Well,
But Alonso, it's not like he's going to get a lot of props for playing first base. He doesn't play a premier defensive position. What he does is be big, and that's why they have him at first base. He's not going to go out, play shortstop, and make diving plays up the middle. He doesn't need to. So you're going to get people who see Tatis making these diving stops up the middle and think, oh my God, Tatis is so much better than Alonso. And that's true, but we're not putting Alonso up the middle. You're
Yeah.
putting him at the corner, and I mean, you see it with Daniel Murphy. You still have to have some talent to play first base.
Tatis is a 5-tool phenom, and you
Yes.
will see a very long and successful career for him.
Most exciting player since Ken Griffey Jr.
I would disagree. I think Acuna is more exciting.
I think, depending, if he was ever on a good team, Trout. Could you imagine Trout on national television every other night because the Angels were
Oh my
contending for the
gosh.
pennant?
I would love that.
We had it in 2014. That was it.
That was the one year
and they
we
got swept by the Royals in the ALCS. That was the Angels' year.
Mm-hmm.
They had home field in the AL. No, it was the ALDS that year because they beat Baltimore.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my Lord, that's right. Listen.
No, they beat
Baltimore.
What didn't Toronto beat Baltimore? In the
Baltimore's
wild
a
card game, or is
clean
that
city.
2016,
2016.
Toronto beat
Oh,
Baltimore.
wow.
Listen to the 2015 AL playoffs, the ALDS. Detroit lost to Baltimore, and the Angels lost to the Royals.
Wow.
Crazy how times have changed.
And then, of course, on the National
4
League
years.
side,
They're all contenders.
you
now.
have
Dodgers.
Chicago beating St. Louis and New York beating, obviously, the Mets beating L.A.
Yeah.
So the National League doesn't change. The AL, you have like 3 of the teams there as some of the worst. But
Well,
the 3 teams are literally the worst in
worst in
baseball.
baseball, yeah.
You look at those teams. You had the Royals who had 2 World Series runs, and that was it. That was literally their only success this decade.
Yeah, that's the only times they even made the playoffs.
The Tigers were at the tail end of their little run because I believe Price was gone at that point.
Sure if he was or not.
I would.
No, that was his last year in Detroit, I think.
Was it?
2015.
Okay. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that was his last year because I think he got traded the year Toronto made the playoffs, which would have been 16. But you look at it, their biggest problem was they never had a bullpen. But that was the tail end of their little run. And the Orioles, they were hot for a couple years because Chris Davis was hitting 50 homers.
Yeah.
They had
Didn't have a bullpen.
about
They had Jabba
3
Chamberlain.
years. They were from 2012 to 2015, which is really incredible to think just how quickly that flips. I mean, the Royals, obviously, it's extremely easy to point out their issues. They lost all of their players. I mean, because that was a legitimately talented core.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have...
Yeah, it's weird. You look at it and you're like, yeah, that's a really talented core, but there's no superstar in that group.
And that's why it worked so well together. Because you had a whole bunch of good players who, if they struggled, you could rely on other players. They were consistently good. It's not like they had one player that outshined the others. And that's why it worked. Because it was... That lineup didn't have a single superstar, but it was consistent all the way through. So you have 9 hitters who can just pick you apart. They might not score 17 runs on 10 homers or something like that, but they'll just single you to death. And we saw that in Game 2 of that World Series against the Mets. Mm-hmm. And that was really the only game in that World Series that happened. The Mets were the better team in 4 of those games. They, blew all 4 of them, or they blew 3 of the 4.
Rip Mets.
Yeah, if the Mets don't figure out a way to stay healthy, I mean, they bought big time on the future of this team with Syndergaard and DeGrom, and Wheeler's interesting. I'm not entirely certain I re-sign him because he has not been what he was promised to be. Mm-hmm. But if he can turn in a miraculous stretch run that leads the Mets to the playoffs, do you start to consider re-signing him? I think
Doesn't he have another year after this?
I could have sworn he was a free agent at the end of this year.
I'm pretty sure it's 2020.
Well, if he's wheeling and dealing, I'd sign him.
Yeah, Matz is another one. Speaking of Matz, he went 1 run over 6 innings.
Unrestricted free agent end of 2020.
Okay, that's good. That's good for the Mets because it means they have a whole bunch of flexibility. Is Matz a free agent?
No. He's further away.
So that means the Mets are going to return all 5 of their starters.
That means they'll be amazing for.
Yeah, and I think that was their main motivation for acquiring Stroman.
And that's speaking of, he pitched 5 1/3. His issue is going to be pitch count. He clearly is going to be talented enough.
Who's that?
Stroman. Yeah. Well, in the games I've seen him pitch for the Mets, he's gotten into trouble with the pitch count all 3 times. He hasn't given up more than I think maybe 3 or 4 runs, which in today's game definitely gives you a chance. But when you start having to get it taken out after 5 1/3, the Mets are extremely lucky last night that they were up 10-3, so they could bring in Gagnon to give up his 4 home runs. It ended 10-8, and they had to bring in Edwin Diaz, which I think is probably good just to get him some work. But you never want a situation where you're forced to pitch a guy like Gagnon in a close game. The reason they went to him, and they let him throw probably 3 innings, is because it was a 7-run game. They didn't want to burn their bullpen guys. And, of course, Seth Lugo blew up Wednesday night. 5 runs in a third of an inning.
What do we think of Diaz? Do we trust him down the stretch? And do we think he has any... Or do we think he...
Do we trust him, or do we think he can be a huge contributor?
Do we think he improves at all?
As considering I don't really see how he can, get worse. Considering there was about a 2-month stretch where I think he gave up a run like every outing, it seemed like. That was important. I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, he improves, but it's not going to be Seattle improve.
I saw an interesting stat this morning. It was, of the 8 relief pitchers, or maybe it was 7, I think it was 8 relief pitchers who have who've been hit the hardest this year, so highest exit velocity against, average exit velocity, they've all been DFA'd this year or sent to the minors or...
Makes sense.
Yeah, except for Edwin Diaz and Josh Hader.
Hader. Well,
Hader's been getting shelled. I would honestly
he
say
throws
Edwin
so hard,
Diaz, because he's in New York, is getting so much more attention than Josh Hader. But Hader has quite literally been hit or miss, and his hits have gone 440 feet.
Yeah, and
he throws so hard, yeah.
The
Well,
article
all of them throw hard. It doesn't really make a difference.
The article that I read was centered around Hader, and it was talking about how he's such an anomaly, and his season this year is unlike any other we've ever seen, because he is in the 100th percentile for strikeout rate and missing bats. Yet when it comes to hard hit percentage and hard contact, he's in like the top or the bottom 2%.
Yeah.
So it's unlike anything we've ever seen before, and it's just very fascinating.
Enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't know if enjoyable is the right word.
Well, when you hate the Brewers, it's enjoyable.
Because it's like he's nails 9 out of 10 times, but the 10th time he's just...
I think that might be the ratio now, but it definitely seems like he's falling apart way more often. I've seen 2 in the last week, and this is of me not exactly following the Brewers very closely, of him giving up game-tying or game-losing home runs in the 8th inning.
Well, everything he gives
Get our
up is
Brewers
a home
professional
run.
Owen on this.
Like that's.
I mean, and that's what's incredible between him and Diaz, and Kyle saying, well, he throws so hard. Well, Diaz throws gasoline too, and he's death by, singles and walks.
And
Hader's given up 450-foot home runs.
yeah,
There ain't nothing wall scraping about these. These are over the bullpen.
the thing is, it's still hard hit. So Diaz has balls hit harder than Hader, despite Hader's being home run.
He gets lasers hit all over the
So-
place. It's just singles,
Anyways,
which doesn't matter because it's not like he can recover.
my point of bringing all of that up was that
That 2
I don't see a
contenders.
turnaround coming for Diaz. Because he doesn't miss bats like Hader does.
He has a very good slider, and if he can throw that with consistency, then he can start to miss bats. It's basically the
last
whole
night
thing
he struggled to find the zone.
with fastballs. Then he threw his sliders and struck. He threw 5 consecutive fastballs, missed the zone on all 5 of them, and they threw 3 consecutive. I don't know if it was 3 consecutive sliders. I think maybe 2 sliders and a changeup, and he struck him out on 3 pitches after that.
I think long-term Edwin Diaz still can be an elite closer. I think this year he needs to reset. I think Lugo needs to be the closer for the rest of the year.
You definitely need to do what the Mets or the Rockies did with Wade Davis and move Diaz to a lower leverage spot where he can get his confidence back. And if he starts to show signs that he's as dominant as he was in the previous years, then you can move him into the setup role. Or if Lugo struggles, you can bring him into the closer's role. Again, I don't want to test. I wouldn't immediately, especially if they're in a pennant race. You do not, plug Diaz into a 1-run game against Washington in late September with the playoffs on the line. But if he's pitching well enough that he has confidence and you have confidence in him, I know Callaway's a supreme idiot. He's the manager equivalent of Bradic's general manager.
Speaking of Callaway, did you see the report that he said about analytics? He said they ignore analytics and go against what the analytics say 85% of the time.
Jeez.
How is this team above 500?
Yeah, jeez.
Imagine if they had someone competent running the team.
Big stupid.
And you know what the crazy thing is? If they make a
Definitely.
wild card, he's
gonna
going to win
get Manager of the Year.
Because all they're going to look at is record.
Yeah.
Callaway is bad. I mean, like, seriously bad. Did you see his quote that 10 times out of 10 he would take out Mats after 79 pitches in 6 one-run innings for Lugo because he's the best pitcher in baseball?
Yeah.
The best pitcher in baseball in the
Best
seventh...
relief pitcher in baseball.
Oh, yeah, the best relief pitcher of baseball in the 7th inning of a game against Atlanta where you don't trust your closer.
I understand the logic in taking Mats out. I don't understand going to Lugo so early, but Mats, because it's going to be a third time through the order, and just his numbers against the line of the third time through, just you can see a significant drop off.
Yeah, but I mean,
So I don't have a problem taking Mats out there. I have a problem going to Lugo that early in the game.
I have an issue with taking him out after he was so efficient. It would be one thing if he had given up 1 run on 97 pitchers or something, then you take him out, but 79, you'd at least like to send him out. I mean, the only thing would be is where are the Braves at in their order? Are you getting Acuna and Donaldson? Are you getting Freeman?
Well, and the difference here, it ironically seems like one of the times that he did listen to the analytics, because the numbers would tell him that that's when you take Mats out, because it's a third time through. Regardless of your efficiency, you need to take him out because it's the third time through the lineup. So it's ironic that he does that and then Lugo blows up.
And clearly Lugo doesn't often do that,
Yeah.
as he gave up 5 runs in a third of an inning and his ERA ballooned to 3.4.
Yeah, that would be a 1.35 ERA for the game, boys.
Why are we still talking about the Mets?
Okay, you want to talk about something else?
Yeah.
Now, I just want to go through the hitters that
I mean, if we're gonna talk about the Mets, we might as
it
well.
was
call
Donaldson, Duvall, then Camargo due up. So that makes more sense. But just looking at it from the base, you have Donaldson, and then you have...
Let's see if he picks up. Hold up, Trevor. We're calling a special guest.
Stop it. Stop being freaking annoying, Jaden.
It's not me.
Y'all, well, you're the one that said it. You're definitely orchestrating this, you and Kyle.
Okay, sorry.
Even though it's Ben with the business card.
Is that Roger?
Hey, is this Roger?
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? We met you at a Vibes game earlier in the year. We got your business card. Hey, we're just wondering, we have a podcast down here at Metro State University, and we're wondering if you'd be interested in coming down sometime.
Oh, yeah, I would.
Yeah, that'd be great. So typically we do our podcasts on Fridays. So is there any specific Friday that you'd be interested in coming on down? Any Friday that you'd be free?
Well, let me take a look at my schedule here.
Sweet.
Doing a food tour today. I'm free August 23rd
Okay.
or September 20th.
So let's see. So you said August 23rd?
Yeah, so a week from today I'm free.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds perfect. Our podcasts are at 12 o'clock till 1 o'clock. So, yeah. Or wait, 11? My bad here. I was talking to my friend here, who's also on the podcast with me. So they're at 11 o'clock till 12 o'clock. So if you're interested in coming down, you can just come down to the Metro State. It's the Tivoli, and we'll just meet you here. So yeah, if you want to come in at 10:45 or something, we can meet you down here and kind of, get you set up before our podcast.
Okay.
Cool. All right, sweet. Sounds good.
Okay, and remind me your name.
My name's Jaden Rioch.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
And here, I can give you my number if you have any more questions or something. I'm just calling off of someone else's phone here. My number is 720 891 7246.
7246.
All right, sweet. Thank you, and see you next week.
All right, sounds real good. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Legendary.
We got the legend on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
He's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer.
That is the culmination of
A
probably
Colorado
a
Sports Hall of
month-long meme.
And we
between our
actually
group.
got him on the podcast. I have no clue what we're going to talk about, but this is going to be incredible.
Dude, Roger, have you met him? He knows more about sports than anyone.
This is true.
You can let me play it and it sounded better.
Oh, okay, Trevor. It's God's plan.
I picked up on that.
By
part,
Drake.
Jaden.
God
Don't
bless your
sneeze
soul.
into the microphone. Why would you do that?
I want to see how loud it could be.
Very. Oh my lord.
And they wish and they wish and they wish. Whoa, what happened?
This is the end.
She said, do you love me? I tell her only partly. I only love my bed and my mom. I'm sorry. 50 dub, I even got it tatted on me. 81, I bring the crashers to the party.
And you know me. Turn it 02 into 03, y'all.
Without 40
up, and you know me. Imagine if I never met the broskies.
God's plan.
God's plan.
We got Roger on the podcast, yeah.
I don't mean to take all the credit there.
But you're going to take all the credit.
I'm gonna
Thank
take
you for bringing Roger on the podcast, Ben.
That was
Drake
the
clapping
The
you
business
for-
card's right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can always call me on my cell phone now that you have it as well.
Yeah, you've given
you
away
should pay
two
him
phone.
for coming in.
We could give away Roger's too.
You've given. You have given away 2 phone numbers on this podcast.
I didn't
so
know
far
what to
today.
say. I didn't know if I should be a meme or if I should be serious, so I invited him on the podcast.
No, I definitely think that was
done.
probably the correct decision.
I
You've
think you should
called
pay
him.
him.
We don't have monies.
Jaden, you'd be the one to pay him.
At Ronan.
Ronan.
I get Ronan to pay.
Ronan, actually, I think they do have a specific amount of money that we can pay people. Like last time, 2 weeks ago, that Friday, they were actually paying, like Metro's paying those people
Oh, can I
to
get
come
paid?
on the podcast. I don't know how it works, though. I have to talk to Ronan.
That'd be tremendous.
Yeah, that would. Money is good. Before we completely shift gears, I want to kind of do something fun. What would be your walk-up music?
Ooh.
Portland
For what?
by Drake.
What other sport uses walk-up music?
Oh yeah, but
Hockey.
I don't play baseball, so
I play softball.
I don't know why this is a good question.
Because it's fun.
Oh, okay.
It's fun, yeah. Jaden Portland by Drake.
Yeah. You guys, my phone's at 69%.
Nice.
What are you gonna play it when I? Okay.
So this would be Jaden's. This is, of course, Portland by Drake, Quavo, and Travis Scott.
Yeah. My side girl got a vibe ass
Oh,
with
the
a
screen crack. Still hit me back right away.
He knows way too many words of that
Okay.
song.
Kyle, you're next.
Sexy Boy, the
Oh,
Shawn
I'm
Michaels.
a
Oh.
sexy boy.
Yeah.
Greatest song ever. It's the greatest song ever. You.
Jaden's singing is just
I know
terrible.
I'm sexy. Get looks.
You'd have to use the chorus. You couldn't use the beginning of the
yeah.
song.
Yeah, mine would start around 20 seconds in my song. And I think I've mentioned this before.
I'll let it get to the chorus for
Fireflies.
Kyle.
Just a sexy boy. Sexy boy. I'm not your boy, toy. Just a sexy boy. Sexy boy.
Kyle, I love your shoes, by the way.
Jaden is wearing
kind of
Calvin
shoes are you wearing?
Johnson
Yeah,
baseball
but they
shoes.
actually look pretty clean. Kyle's shoes.
He always wears
Thank
those
you.
shoes.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, what's yours?
Oh, you know what it is.
Fireflies.
Yeah.
20 seconds in, that's when it gets hyped.
That's a very specific allotted amount of time. Just play it till 20 seconds. You might not believe your eyes if 10,000... Oh, 10 mil...
Jaden ruined that.
How do you not?
What the heck? He says 10,000 somewhere.
10,000 lightning bugs.
Leave teardrops everywhere. You'd think me rude, but I would just stand down.
This is terrible.
No.
Well, yeah, obviously it
I'd
wouldn't go
like
this
to
long.
make
It's just that little bass beat drop at the beginning.
What would yours be, Trevor?
I'm debating between. I think King of Kings would be kind of fun. If I was actually good at softball, King of Kings would be good.
That would be dope.
I'll play King of Kings.
1,000 hugs.
You should definitely be on the podcast next week because he'll remember you.
Oh, Roger?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be at CSU, bro.
But you should.
Ah. Yeah, that's right. Dang. Because he won't know Trevor. He might know me by chance. I don't know. We'll see. But you'll know you for sure.
On your knees, dog.
Have him call in and show him a picture of him.
Yeah, here's my friend Kyle.
Just you print out a picture. I think this part right here.
It's not hard. You're pretty
For
short.
those that don't know, Roger Haddix, we met him at a Rocky Mountain Vibes game.
This is
See
true.
the Vibes logo on the hat?
Yeah, Skotoast.
He's a vintage sports guy.
He's an author.
He knows a lot about Colorado sports history specifically.
We have to do research
He's
on him.
like an encyclopedia. The man is insanely smart. He's written some books, or he's got a book.
He's got a book, the history
Yeah.
of Colorado Springs baseball.
I gotta plug that for him. But he is
He's a
tremendous
legend.
man. He knows a lot about baseball.
He's a good guy.
It's gonna be a lot of fun listening to him talk. I highly suggest tuning in next week to listen to him.
Thank you. Nice plug. He truly is a great guy.
Will you please stop clapping and or sneezing and or doing anything straight into the microphone?
No,
other
Trevor.
Than talking. Talking is the only thing. Ben, stop.
Oh,
Made a
yes,
confetti
I'm the only
noise.
one who's not muted.
Yeah.
I didn't clap.
And that means I know which microphones y'all are now,
Who?
so I can have total control.
Didn't you already have that?
I have total control. I just didn't know the exact microphone, so it's good to know 2, 3, 4 in that order.
Oh yeah, it would make sense.
It does make sense, but sometimes it's not like that. So
Well, he said
I
he just
turn
set it
back
up,
on?
so I figured it was right.
Trevor, who do you think he has the most, since we were talking about walk-up songs, who do you think has the most iconic walk-up song in baseball history?
Charlie
Well-
Blackman.
well, I mean,
Honestly.
honestly,
man.
yeah. When you think of walk-up songs, you think of songs that people sing along to, and Ryan Spielborg's had "Sweet Escape" that everyone sang along to, but Charlie Blackman clearly, the multiple All-Star appearances, Colorado icon. It's got to be "Your Love to Me." I just can't think of any walk-up songs.
That's what Mary M said.
I just can't think of any walk-up songs that are iconic enough to be. Yeah, you're muted. I can't.
Me?
No, Kyle.
Oh,
I can't think of any walk-up songs that are just straight up iconic.
Kyle, just text me anything you want to say. I'll say it for you.
Then I'll meet you.
Uh-oh. No, I was just going to say hi to your mom and your grandma.
You've already done that, haven't you?
No, I know. I just wanted to let them know that you're a grown man. You have a girlfriend.
I do
Mary
not
M.
have a girlfriend.
No, Mary M.
Trevor, congrats on having a girlfriend.
Okay, so the podcast is going to be only me for a few minutes here. They've all been giving 2-minute minors. You can probably still hear them a little bit because they're basically screaming from the other side. At least Jaden is. But yeah, I definitely think "Your Love" is the most iconic walk-up song in baseball. Jaden, stop. I can hear you through the glass just enough to hate you, and I do a lot. So, should we talk about Nathan Peterman's performance last night? Really? Chocolate Banana? Are you kidding me?
It'd be a good walk-up song.
No, it would not.
This would be Babe Ruth's walk-up song.
You know it, Kyle. When you've got a sweet tooth. This one's for you, Trevor.
Well, Nathan Peterman, how did he look last
He
night?
started 7 of 7. That's the
He's
last
the
I
goat.
saw.
It was goat versus boat.
Well, here, I'll pull it up.
Chocolate banana. Take one home for your wife.
Caleb, he has a wife.
You know it. I love Caleb.
We know, Jaden.
He's such a great guy.
I think you mentioned that you love him about every single day on this
well,
podcast.
because he loves me too.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Podcast was only once a week.
Oh, Trevor exposed.
I'm tired. I really can't think. So,
I'm Jaden.
man,
I'm Jaden.
You're Jaden too?
Yeah,
Have
I'm
you already
Jaden
checked
2,
to
you're
see-
Jaden 1
Jaden met a girl named Jaden.
This is true.
on Tinder.
Let's go. Trey clapping gif.
never mind. Yeah, we found the Roger H 1977 on Twitter, which I'm assuming is him, but it doesn't have any tweets, so it's basically not him.
You just hate to see it.
Speaking of actual real news, the Cessna carrying Dale Earnhardt Jr., his wife, his daughter, and his dog had a crash landing at Elizabethton Airport not last night, I guess just yesterday. And they all were able to escape before the plane caught fire. Dale, I think, was the only one. He might have been, maybe the pilots were taken, but I believe Dale was the only one that was taken to the... No, none of them were seriously injured.
That's good.
He just has a history of head injuries, so they stabilized him, took him to the hospital, and he was released later that night. But that family...
Glad
Scary.
Dale's okay. Nathan Peterman went 8 for 8 with 41 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions.
averaging about 5 yards per completion. If that's not GOAT, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Hey, that's a Tom
Why did
Brady
you say
violation.
GOAT versus BOAT? That was the playoff game, Buffalo versus Jacksonville for a single drive.
And the boat's on the Rams.
Yes, but they played Arizona last night.
I know.
Oakland played. So what? Okay, not even
boats.
worth it.
I love boats.
Boats?
Boat? Yeah, the boat.
The Bortles of all time, if you're wondering, because,
He's a legend.
Actually, speaking
It's
of Bortles,
Blake.
The Blake of all time.
Blake Fry.
It's Blake Bolton, not
Dude,
Bortles.
he did not want to come onto the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, because he does not love you.
he's
Speaking
getting a
of
haircut.
Blake, let's talk about The Bachelor.
No, we're
Bachelor
not
in
talking about The
Paradise.
Bachelor.
L.
There is a huge fight about to go down.
Yeah, we're not doing The Bachelor. This is... We can get off topic on this show, but we will not do The Bachelor.
We did it
Wait,
last
why
week.
did I get muted? Oh, Trevor, I sent you a good meme that relays my
Good
feelings on what just was talked about.
We all got muted because we could hear Ben blabbing about The Bachelor on the other mics.
Oh, you were talking about The Bachelor? What about
Was.
The Bachelor?
Well, I'm not-
yeah, if we
was
start
just
talking about it
kidding.
again, everyone gets muted.
we talked about it last week, and you didn't have a problem with it.
Well, because Blake was here.
Oh,
And he
so
likes
if
Blake.
was here.
Yeah,
it'd be
he
fine.
likes Blake more than us.
Well, he annoys me a lot less, so I mean, kinda.
Facts true.
I don't think I ever had to mute him.
Drew Lock time.
Is it Drew Lock time? Trevor, is it Drew Lock time or is that Monday?
Oh, the Broncos do play Monday. I
Yeah.
legit had no clue when they played.
Let's go, Niners.
40?
As opposed to...
Niners.
Yep.
60.
I don't think that's a football team.
Are you sure?
Well, that's what I call him.
They're 20
Phillips
left.
66ers. That's a basketball team.
I-
People forget that.
Do people forget that, or people just don't know that?
No,
Can
people
I say
forget
it?
that. Sure, you can. Snoop Dogg.
I will allow it that once. Actually, that's technically your warning, I guess.
Let's
go.
But you've been muted so many times.
Yeah,
I know.
He's lasted 42 minutes longer than Kyle and Jaden before getting his who.
Just about
How much
41.
longer is that?
Yeah, I was going to say longer than about 41 minutes longer than Caleb.
That's
And depending on the time, it's -9 from what Kyle lasted.
It's very true.
Phillips 66ers. Let's read about them.
Great basketball team.
They were in Oklahoma. And their nickname
so
was the Oilers.
looking forward to the. I mean, I'm just trying
Very
to.
cool.
I know we probably did talk about it last week, but
Football.
that didn't work. Who do we have in the baseball playoffs? Like wild card, then
Let's
It
take
changes
turns.
every
Yeah.
week.
it literally does. AL's more defined, so let's just do that.
Oh, okay. That's easy.
The Yankees.
Yankees, Indians, Astros,
They're the division winners. Yep, I think that's.
Okay.
Wow.
I think we can all
card,
agree
yeah.
on that, right?
Yep.
and then
Yep.
there's 2 of 3 teams remaining:
The Rays.
Twins, Rays, A's.
And I think it's
It's
going to
the
be
Rays
Twins
and
and
the
A's.
Twins.
I agree with that. Twins
No.
and A's.
The way
Rays.
the A's are playing, yeah.
No, I heart Rays. Rays and A's.
Trevor says as he wears a Rays hat.
I have Twitter monies on it, so I'm going to be in debt if they don't.
How are you not in debt already?
Because somehow I'm at 22.
How did you get 22?
Because
Lucky
of the baseball
number.
game. That's true. I can never be in debt.
Hi.
Oh my God, that looks like Mary M. Here we go again.
This is the most I've ever muted someone.
Okay, so NL.
National League.
Yes, Jaden.
National League division winners.
Do we think the
Yes.
Dodgers are going to make the playoffs?
Dodgers
No.
and Braves. We
No,
can
wait.
say
You
with
think
certainty.
Dodgers are going to make the playoffs?
I thought the
No way.
Padres would upset.
You got the Cardinals or Cubs in the division?
I got Cubs.
Cardinals.
Cubs.
I'll say Cardinals then.
Woo, Cardinals. Yachty.
And then Dodgers and Braves as the other 2 division winners. And then wild cards. That's where it gets
Nationals,
interesting.
there's about 37,000. I think, well, I don't even know because I didn't look after the Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday games for the Mets.
Okay.
I
There's about 8 different teams that could be wild cards.
Yeah, the Nats are plus 1.5 for the first wild card. The Cubs are the second wild card. The Brewers and Phillies are a game back. The Mets are 2 back. Diamondbacks and Giants are 3.5 back, and that's basically where you draw the cutting line.
I think the most fun series we could make would be fun wild card would be Giants and Mets. I think that'd be the one we want to see. Unfortunately, those are probably the 2 teams least likely to make it.
Yeah. The one we want to see is Scherzer versus DeGrom.
I would disagree.
Well, yeah, you're a Giants fan.
Well, yeah, but why would we want the Nationals in it?
I want to watch the old Mets versus the old
We want to
Giants.
see the 2 teams that everybody wrote off at the beginning of the year.
No, just the old New York team versus
yeah,
the new
what
New
about
York
the
team.
Nationals?
Get rid of the Nationals and bring back the Expos.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure
Kyle's
the Nationals
spitting
were
facts.
written off at the beginning of the year.
Not to the same
They were
extent.
sent to Montreal.
No, I'm definitely people were 1,000%. They had written off the Nationals before the Mets
They're very true.
because the Nationals just losing Bryce.
I
one
would
had-
argue that made them better because Bryce Harper's overrated.
That doesn't mean it makes them better.
Well,
They're still a very good team even without Bryce,
They
and I think
performed better this year than they did last year. So.
Bryce Harper won a home run derby. People forget that.
it's only like the most famous moment in MLB home run derby history. So I don't think people do forget
Josh
that.
Hamilton's cooler.
But he never won. He didn't win it.
Vlad was cool
Vlad took a fat L.
against Pete Alonso.
I did something.
Okay, realistically, I will say
The Nats.
I'll say Nationals and
Cardinals.
Uh-oh. My headphones came undone.
I'll say
I don't really know
Nationals
where
and
to plug it
Cubs, I
back in,
guess.
so.
I actually have
No, I
Cardinals.
can't hear any of you.
Yeah, I don't want
That's
that to happen.
stupid.
But that's
Those are my 2 least favorite
Wait,
teams.
Trevor, you can't hear us?
Yeah, Trevor broke his. Who?
Drew Lock time.
Oh, exactly. It is Drew Lock time. And who?
Whose time is it?
It's
Drew Lock time.
Okay, I'm good now.
Who?
Oh.
True
Oh,
Lock
excuse
time?
me,
True
sorry.
Lock time? Who?
Okay, we're good now.
Why am I getting muted?
I was talking to the owl, Trevor.
Blake's
People
dead
forget
owl.
Flipsy's dead.
People don't know who that is.
Oh, Blake
Let's not
found
talk
an
about
owl.
this. This is sad.
Well, we
Sad.
gotta bring awareness to it.
Hey, animal! PETA.
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 No. Jaden, no.
That's Trevor.
Pedophile. It's because you're short. You could blend in with a 6th grade crowd.
A 6th grade cloud?
Yeah, a grade 6 cloud. Those are intense. Trevor.
What kind of cloud would a dew point have?
A Mountain Dew point.
Oh, hi, Chris. I forgot to mention him. Hi, Chris Spears.
Dew point all has to do with
Mountain
amount
Dew.
of moisture
No,
in the air.
we can't get off topic. We need to talk about sports.
Yeah, we have to talk about Mountain Dew.
So Tuesday night at the Rockies game,
Oh, we went to the Rockies
I'll
game.
say- I'll
That's right. They
segue
didn't
it.
have a purple hat, stupids.
I'll
Kyle, you
segue
had a little
that.
bit of fun that night?
No, that was a week before
The
stupid.
game wasn't the only
No, but what did he do at the game, Kyle?
Kyle, what did you do at the game?
No, we're not
What
going
did I
to
do
talk
at
about
the game?
this.
Oh.
He was watching more than just the Rockies game that night.
Yeah, he went into a urinal.
Okay, but the Rockies went down 7-1 very early, so I tweeted at my
Chris Spears.
Chris Spears, former professor, and asked him. I mean, I knew
Former.
there was no chance. Well,
Isn't he
'cause-
still a teacher?
yes, but he's my former professor.
Well, you can't call him former if he's not dead.
That doesn't even make sense.
Do our fans really want to hear the story?
No, they don't.
Well, they'll probably find what
No,
you
no,
three
you
did
forgot,
afterwards.
Ben. Grandma and
What did I
mom want to
do?
hear it.
Well, did you tweet? I think you tweeted at Chris, or at least responded to me or something.
Yeah, I responded
Jaden
to you
responded
and-
first.
And tagged me.
All I did was respond to you by tagging Jaden.
Uh-huh. And then I
Oh.
responded.
Yeah, because Jaden
People
said,
forget, Chris Spears follows me.
"Yeah, that's
I didn't
We're pretty
do
much
what-
buds.
that's a huge mistake."
That's pretty much me and him are best buds now.
Hey, Chris and Ben, and of course, video recorder at TrevBlatnick5.
Yep. And he liked it.
I know.
It's because he knows you got suspended, Trevor.
Oh no, believe me, that was a main talking point in our class last semester when I got suspended.
Oh, did you tell him I did it?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. So that means he's
So does he know who Jaden is?
No.
Aw. You should have let him know. I'm the weather guy.
You're not a weather guy.
Yeah, cloud, rain, weather.
I'm a big weather guy.
Math. Yeah, thank you.
Isn't the weather just so?
You know, every time I go
fabulous?
out to eat, I get Mountain Dew to drink. So, like, honestly, I'm a pretty big expert on the dew point.
You know, when I think of weather, I
What do you think of?
What do you think I think of?
I think of clouds.
Would it surprise you if I told you I think of a song?
Which song?
Okay. No. I'll play it. This is a good song. Let me play it.
I've never heard this song.
It's one of the, yeah.
Jaden Drake sings it.
No, Luke Bryan, better than Drake.
So like the country version of Drake.
Oh, Drake. Drake?
Drake with a
course.
J.
Fortunately, that's all the time we have today, boys.
No, we got about
6 minutes.
10 minutes.
Oh. Saints won't make the playoffs, stupids.
Saints won't make the playoffs?
WON''T.
He's going with all the big L's.
No, I'm part of Big Iron, so it makes
Also,
sense.
Jaden is on record as saying that the Mets will win 72 games this year
They got 11 more to win.
total, and the Rockets are going to miss the playoffs.
So that'll work.
He also
He'll get-
has ball winning Rookie of the Year.
Let's go. Oh, I didn't know he dropped so far, but he's still going to win. Because I have Twitter monies on it. Frisky.
He also has Sam Darnold making the Pro Bowl.
Which he
I
will.
could
Sam
actually
Darnold
see
is
that.
a really
That's
good
not
quarterback.
far-fetched.
Sam Darnold, people forget, last 6 games of last year had the highest QBR among any active quarterback.
wow.
Probably
QBR,
helps he was
the most
facing
heroes.
fifth-string defensive backs.
Really? Do you know who he played last year at the end of the season? Because I don't.
I think he played Green Bay,
He played the Patriots once, probably.
probably.
I mean,
probably
still,
true.
I mean, all you had was Robbie Anderson. I mean, to lead the league in QBR in the last 6 weeks, it was pretty good.
Yeah, because QBR is a really good stat.
Hey,
It
QB
is.
star
It
is
is.
It actually
QBR.
is.
I'm with
QBR is
Jaden.
a
I'm high on
terrible
Darnold.
stat.
I am
Oh.
high on Darnold. And Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen will have a great year as well.
You know it. Thank you.
I'm sleeping on him.
Who?
I like Allen more than Darnold.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean much.
I think Darnold in a few years could be really good, but just not yet.
People forget. Sam
Neither
Darnold,
one of them make a
Sam
Pro Bowl.
Darnold is the youngest
Ever.
starting quarterback since the NFL-AFL merger.
Yeah.
I really don't care.
Why
I
did
don't-
you just redline? That was
I don't think-
unnecessary.
Trevor, chances Ronald Acuna wins MVP.
1.
1%?
No,
Assuming
100.
Yelich and Bellinger don't get hurt.
Yes.
Oh,
percentage?
I'm going to say 40.
I'm muted. Oh wait, no, my back.
40%
You're back.
chance?
Yeah, I like it. I think he'll make it.
You think?
I
Well,
think he's got a better chance.
I'd say 15%.
I was going to say 20.
40.
I've been on the Acuna hype train.
Since
for-
before he debuted.
Yeah, since like Arizona Fall League,
Yeah.
2018, I said he was going to be a future Hall of Famer.
I'm on his bandwagon too now. He's
So,
my favorite player.
He
to
was
watch.
my preseason pick for MVP. I also picked the Braves to win the World Series and him to win World Series MVP, which is
Against
a
the
lot,
Yankees.
A lot to ask for.
I would think Donaldson has a better
21-year-old.
chance than Acuna. Just because it seems like whenever Donaldson gets put in a
Josh
huge...
Donaldson.
Are there any other Donaldsons on the
I mean,
Braves?
the
Donald
World
Donaldson.
Series is so far away. It's so hard to predict that. I just wanted to throw
Well,
all
I guarantee you
together.
that Steph Curry won't win Finals MVP next year, so it's not that hard to predict.
At Old Takes Exposed, write that down.
Yikes. Are you sure? Warriors dynasty isn't over yet.
It's
That's
not
what they
over
keep
yet,
saying.
but I just don't think Steph is. Although I would say Clay would be the most valuable to coming back.
Steph Curry deserved it over Andre Iguodala.
Watch Steph go
Big
off
facts.
and win MVP this year.
And then losing 5 games to like Memphis in the
No,
first
I
round.
texted Adam Silver
think
and
Memphis
asked
will
him
make
to
the
give it to
playoffs?
Jokic, stupids.
Stupid.
So he's got to give it to Jokic now. Oh yeah, I did text with Adam Silver. He did not respond.
So NL Rookie of the or NL MVP. You're who's gonna win it?
Man, it just depends if Bellinger
Yeah.
keeps regressing.
I think it's Yelich.
Yelich is one to lose now.
Yelich
Yeah.
is the favorite. I think Acuna.
Especially if Milwaukee makes a run, makes the playoffs.
if Acuna heats up enough, he can take it. But he's gonna need an OPS of 1,000.
yeah,
have a
that's
chance.
his weakness. He doesn't have an OPS of 1,000.
Big weakness.
I don't think Bellinger's gonna win it.
No, and I mean, again, we've talked about this so often on the podcast. I think there needs to be two awards: most important,
in all sports.
and then in all sports, most important and most valuable. Because to me, those are two completely different words. Most important is most outstanding, not most important, because valuable is the same thing as important. Most outstanding and most valuable, because there's a huge difference.
And in the NBA, best storyline, because it seems like all the Russell Westbrook winning MVP is because of his story.
This is soft.
And-
You just want to add a bunch of awards so more people win.
No, I don't want to add more awards. I truly think that it's broken. Value doesn't mean best. It means the most valuable.
Yeah.
So if you take a player off of a team,
Nikola
that
Jokic.
team would be exactly. Jokic was. I would say just going by that. I mean, just look what you have to look what the player does for the rest of the team, and that's why I think that Stanton wasn't the most valuable player in 2017. Congrats, you hit 61 homers or something. Your team still won like 65 games.
True.
For the record, Cody Bellinger in the second half
It's only like 260, right?
259.
That doesn't shock me. I've never been high on him as a contact hitter.
He's all power.
And it's unbelievable because he's still hitting like 230 or 330, right? How far has he dropped, like, overall on the season?
I think he's down to 313 or 317.
Which is still incredible, but I know he just got hurt, but watch out for Jeff McNeil to take the NL batting title. He was
Oh, yeah.
Watch out for Brian Reynolds to take the
Yeah,
batting.
Pirates.
rookie Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good stories. I think we talked about this last week, but clearly no one was here to hear it. This is the best rookie class ever.
And I've been
We
saying
also
that
talked
since
about
May.
football.
I know, but
Yeah.
no one was here
It's
to hear
crazy.
it.
I
It's
just wanna-
only the National League, too. That's what's crazy.
Well, no. You want to say that, but you look at the AL and it still has Vlad, who everybody
That's true.
loves.
It's going to be
And
great.
it's actually
They
he's
still have Eloy Jimenez.
And Bobo.
They still
Bo Bichette. Yeah.
Bo Bichette, Jordan Alvarez, who's going to win Rookie of the Year, Brandon Lau, who was an All-Star, John Means, who was an All-Star.
Memes.
So
He was-
long term,
yeah.
maybe not
He's a
quite
good guy, John Memes.
the same depth, but
They're pretty good.
yeah,
This rookie class, all-timer, if not number one.
I think it is.
That's gonna
Is
be
McNeil considered a rookie?
He is not.
No.
He had too many bats last year.
Sadly,
Um,
Tachman was not a rookie either. Sad face.
I mean, you look at the top three that are going to finish in NL Rookie of the Year voting.
Would you think Verdugo's going to finish top 3?
No, I think it's going to be Soroka.
Yeah, me too. Mike Soroka.
Alonso,
Soroka,
Tatis,
who would
Soroka.
win Rookie of the Year most years. With
Well, I think
the numbers.
most of these rookies would win Rookie of the Year like any other year. And I think it was Monday night when Aristides Aquino and who was the other rookie who hit the 3 homers in the game? Monday.
Jordan Alvarez.
Alvarez and Aquino had 3 homer games the exact same night. And you said something that just basically encapsulates this entire season. When Kutch hit 3 homers his rookie season, I thought it was the greatest rookie performance ever, and now it's just like no big deal.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's absolutely ridiculous that now it's not a big deal. And it's obviously there's just so much more talent. They're being able to train better.
Didn't even mention Oscar Mercado in the AL. He needs some love.
But
Yeah,
just
big
overall,
facts.
it's because of the ball. Like, seriously, I keep plugging it. I mean, not only because of the ball, but like you see, follow Juice Balls Exposed.
Juice World?
Juice Balls
know it.
Exposed. It is incredible how you just see pop-ups, legitimate pop-ups, and then line drives in the gap. Just, I mean, Gleyber Torres gets an inside pitch that he tries to pull, is late, pops it up to right field. Yes, it's Yankee Stadium, so you know, but it still gets out of here.
Short porch. But going
Crazy.
back to it in the NL, you've got Tatis, Alonso, and Soroka, the big 3. Mm-hmm. And then guys who aren't even going to make the top 3 in NL Rookie of the Year voting. Brian Reynolds, who could win the batting crown.
Yeah.
Chris Paddock, who's been unbelievable. Alex
Yeah.
Verdugo, who was almost an all-star. Victor Robles, who has been very good. Yeah, Verdugo's got almost a 4 WAR.
Crazy.
Giovanni Gallegos, who has been one of the best relief pitchers in baseball. Christian Walker, who nobody cares about, but
Arizona.
Actually, I'm literally watching his
he's
home run
been
Tuesday
very
night
good
right
this
now.
year. Austin Riley.
On that juiced ball
I know
account.
he's cooled off, but Austin Riley.
Well, I
is
mean, you
another big
really
one.
can't keep up the pace of a homer a night.
Keston Hiura, who I think is a future batting crown champ because he is
Milwaukee, yeah.
he can hit. Mike Yastrzemski for the Giants. He's
Related to Carl.
He's had a real nice year. what was it that I saw? Since he's been called up, he's got more homers than like, I don't remember what that stat was.
Juan Soto is overrated. He's extremely good, but he's not as good as everyone thinks
Childish
he is.
Bambino.
No, he is an elite hitter.
You know it?
Anyways, other NL rookies: Aristides Aquino, Will Smith,
Aristotle.
and Nick Senzel.
Sensatella.
It's crazy how much depth there is. Best rookie.
Like half the Marlins.
Yeah, it's gonna go down as like the 84 NBA rookie class. Like, it's gonna go down in history. 2019 MLB rookie class.
And I think the issue is with these is that you're going to get multiple All-Stars and maybe even a Hall of Famer.
Oh,
But it's-
multiple Hall of Famers,
multiple,
I think.
I don't know.
Well,
Hard to say
I
after
think
1 year.
Tatis will be. I think Vlad and Alvarez both have decent shots at it.
Bo Bichette.
I think
Bo
it's-
Bichette's got a shot. I think Keston Hira's got a shot.
I love
If
how we're
Pete
talking
Alonso
about.
plays long enough, maybe.
I love how we're talking. I mean, doesn't like literally every prospect have a chance of being
Chance
a
at the Hall of
Famer?
Fame.
Yeah, but
I mean, they've played less than a season.
I'm talking more along like just star potential
Talent.
that you see.
I know, but that's why I said every prospect. To be a prospect, like and considered in the top 100 and stuff, you clearly have some star potential. So doesn't everyone on the top 100 have Hall of Fame potential?
No.
Yes, I mean they do. That's
No.
why they're in the top
I would
100.
disagree because I don't think it's that deep.
Probably like top 10 have Hall
Because-
of Fame potential.
The way that a lot of prospect lists work is they try to value ceiling and floor, and you see a lot of high ceiling guys that get ranked that people like, yeah, I see a lot of potential here, but he doesn't really have a very high floor because he could easily bust, so he won't get ranked as high. And that would be why you don't see stuff. I'll give you an example. A guy with the Giants, Marco Luciano, who's tearing up the AZL this year, 17 years old, was not a top 100 prospect at the beginning of the year, despite people saying that he could be a 30-30 shortstop in the majors. With and I mean after he's this year, I think he could hit even more homers. And I don't know if he'll see that many bases.
What league did you say? The ACL?
AZL, Arizona League, which is like rookie.
He tears ACL.
This is one step up from the
Exactly what I was
Dominican League. But
You said
and
that he was tearing up his ACL, I thought, and I was like, what?
he has like never mind, one of the highest ceilings in all of minor league baseball, but he isn't ranked as highly on prospect lists because he's still so young. He could bust really easily. So to say that everyone in the top 100 prospects has the potential to be a future Hall of Famer, I don't really think that's a fair assessment
I could still be a Hall of Famer.
because it's a balance of
This
ceiling
is
and
true.
floor.
You know it.
Anyway,
That's just about all the time we've got. So maybe, well, it's not maybe. It's final thoughts. What? Get your last words in.
Drew
The
Lock.
Houston Rockets are stupid.
The Rocky Mountain Vibes are gonna win the Pioneer League.
No.
And on that note,
No.
Toasty, if you're listening, say hi.
Braves
for-
to the World Series. Braves Indians.
Kyle Barton, Ben Vogel, Jaden Rioch, I'm Trevor Blydnick. See y'all with Roger Haddix next week.
Roger! I'm not singing.
Older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing
A's have
like
69 wins.
country road.
I saw it on Quick Pitch. Take me home to the place. Sing, Jaden.
I belong, West Virginia,
No.
Mountain Mama.
Mountain Llamas.
Take me home,
Take me home.
country road.
Country roaded.